Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette and I make videos talking about my experiences as a New Zealander living in Germany. So I thought it was about time for another parenting in Germany related video. And I recently experienced probably the biggest parenting culture shock so far in Germany, and I wanted to talk about it. If you watch my videos, I'm sure you're thinking, Antoinette, come on, surely you're not still experiencing culture shocks after all these years. But the truth is, the culture shocks, they just never stop. I have 3 children, and my eldest daughter, Amelia, she recently turned 10, and she was born in Germany. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how long I've been living in Germany. And I definitely have to say that the culture shocks get less and less with my other children, but my first child, Amelia, I have experienced a lot of parenting culture shocks. As your child grows up, you are constantly faced with different circumstances, situations, challenges, and this is the case for every parent. But when you are living abroad, when you're a parent raising your children outside of your home country, some of these challenges are just amplified. And at the moment, I am facing a pretty challenging stage of my parenting journey. I have talked about the German school system before in many videos actually, even 2 years ago I started talking about the German school system, and so I thought I had a pretty good idea of what I was facing here. It turns out I was not prepared at all. This Kiwi mama living in Germany has been completely out of her depth over the last few months. So Amelia is in the 4th grade here in Germany, and if you know anything about the German school system, you will know that the 4th grade is a very important year, and if you know nothing about the German school system, oh my goodness, just brace yourself. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it is very, very complicated, but Germany has a very unique school system in the way that there is a 3-streamed system here, which means children are split up into 3 different streams based on their academic performance. Yeah, it sounds pretty brutal, and it is. It really is. So 4th grade is the last year of primary school or elementary school in Germany, and after this year the children are split up into 3 streams, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of what each stream actually means, but basically the highest stream, gymnasium, is your path to university. They are basically being told at the age of around 10 that that is your path in life. You are able to go to university and you are smart enough. And then for the kids who didn't quite make the cut to gymnasium, there is the Realschule, that's like the middle stream, and then there is either the Hauptschule or the Mittelschule, depending on what part of Germany you live in. There's also other streams in different areas of Germany. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it all, but basically that's how it is in Germany. The children in the 2 lower streams are basically told, maybe university is not for you, so you should probably concentrate on a different sort of career, and saying that there are definitely ways of moving up to gymnasium if you are in the Realschule or even the Mittelschule. There are definitely ways to get there, but it's not easy. Anyway, I've talked about this in many videos, and to be honest, I don't have a problem with the streaming as such. I have a problem with how young the children are streamed. And so my daughter Amelia, she's 10 right now. She's just turned 10, and we don't know what school she will be attending. It's too early to tell, but right now they are training, preparing the children for, this final decision. And so this year, grade 4 has been just so intense, and I was not prepared for it at all. As a Kiwi mother living in Germany, this is absolute madness to me. The amount of pressure that these kids are put under at the age of 10 is just, I don't even have words. You would think that these little kids are about to sit their university entrance exams. These are 10-year-olds. How can you decide a child's career or the path they should be going in their career when they are that young? I don't understand it. I am so confused. I don't know what's going on here. Actually, I do know what's going on here, but it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, the streaming, I think it's okay to stream children based on, how well they can keep up in the academic subjects, but why do they have to be split up into different schools when they are 10? Maybe they could be streamed when they're a little bit older, or streamed but stay in the same school. I find it really, really unfair. I am just so proud of Amelia this year with how she has faced this demand, just test after test and study and all of this pressure put on her by the school or all of the kids. She's taking it in her stride. She's grown up in Germany. I do not make it clear that I am frustrated by the system. I don't want Amelia to know, because I don't want this to influence how she thinks about the school system. I just encourage Amelia as much as I can, and yeah, it breaks my heart, to be honest, seeing how much pressure these kids are under, but it is what it is, and it's so conflicting for me because I love so many things about raising my kids here in Germany. It's such an amazing country in so many ways, but this school system, oh my goodness, it has challenged me so much, and I've talked about the fact that I have even been close to just throwing it all in and just thinking this Germany's not for me, based on the German school system. I'm not finding this easy because I don't agree with it. I don't agree with children of this age being put under so much academic pressure. And so, as I said, we don't know what school Amelia is going to, and we just have to support her in any way we can. Me supporting her means that I am not putting any sort of pressure on her. I am here for her 100%. My husband and I are here for her if she needs us, if she needs any help with her schoolwork, and we are not putting any pressure on her because I don't think children should be put under that much stress. So basically this year Amelia is doing test after test after test. It is just like an academic boot camp, and these children are graded, and the final decision as to what school they will be streamed into has to do with their overall academic results throughout that year. It is ruthless, let me tell you. It is black and white. There is no questioning anything. It's either you get a good grade or you don't. And yeah, the only subjects that are actually counted are German and maths, and in Bavaria it's called HSU, which is sort of a mix between social studies, sort of general knowledge, geography, and Amelia loves this subject. This is a subject she just really loves. The German school system is not a one-size-fits-all. It changes dramatically throughout Germany. I am only talking about our experience here in Bavaria, but Bavaria is notorious for being extremely strict and having very high academic standards. And so yeah, it's really like cutthroat. The teachers put the kids under a lot of stress, but not only the teachers, the parents, like it is cutthroat. Honestly, every parent wants their child to get into gymnasium, and they will stop at nothing to get their child there. Trust me, it is like, honestly, I can't even tell you just some of the things I've seen. Amelia actually came home from school the other day and she told me that one of her friends has been punished for getting a 3 in a test, which, I mean, a 3, I don't think that's a bad grade at all, but apparently, according to the parents, this, that is not good enough. Amelia did say that the punishment was no screen time for like a month or something like that, which that alone, that's okay. No screen time, I agree with that, but not when it comes to grades. Like, I don't think you should punish a child for their grades. I would only use that kind of punishment if it had to do with something like bullying. If my child was bullying another child, I would be really tough about that, but not grades. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe a child would be punished for getting a 3, which is not even bad. Like, and there's far worse things that go on, but parents get a bit crazy at this time. Oh, it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. As I said, Amelia is dealing with this intense situation so well, and I'm so proud of her, honestly. I think of myself at 10 and I would have crumbled under this pressure, and I just, like, it amazes me when I see how calm and collected Amelia is. I think it's just because she's grown up in Germany and it's just normal to her. But yeah, it's quite eye-opening for me as a New Zealand mum. It's really hard to get accurate results of a child's academic performance when they are put under pressure in tests. Like, I do not think that a grade, like a test grade, can indicate how intelligent a child is. Of course there are some children who are more academically gifted than others, but Some children are very intelligent, but they just don't perform well in these very structured, pressure-driven tests. You know, this environment is not compatible with some children, and I just don't think it's fair. I do not think this grading system is fair. What I'm trying to say is it's been a shock for me because, you know, my child is 10 and I think of myself as a 10-year-old, and New Zealand school is fun. There is hardly any testing, hardly any homework. You know, we all have an equal opportunity to attend university. Our university entrance exams are much, much later when we are teenagers, not when we're 10. I am a qualified secondary school teacher myself, and I also have a bachelor's degree in graphic design. And if I had grown up in Germany and had to go through the German school system, there is no way that I would have made it to gymnasium. I don't know whether I would have been able to study. I don't know. I don't even like to think about it, to be honest, because, yeah, I don't know. I know for a fact that many years ago here in Germany, the school system was much tougher, at least here in Bavaria. And so right now, Amelia's teacher has actually said that if a child reaches the appropriate grade to make it to whatever school, gymnasium, you have to have a minimum grade of, is it 2.33 or 2.3? And to reach Realschule, you need to have a minimum, you know, overall average grade of 2.66. There isn't a lot of difference between the two schools. It's pretty cutthroat. And if you know, reach that minimum, then you can enter whatever school type, you know, no questions asked. It was not like that years ago, and I know that for a fact because my husband went through the German school system as an immigrant child. A lot of you already know that my husband Rob is ethnically Polish. He grew up in Germany. He actually moved to Germany with his family when he was 6, and he went straight into the German school system without speaking a word of German. This must have been traumatizing. Like, I can't even begin to imagine how difficult that must have been. Just been thrown in to a German school when you do not understand anything that is going on. And so according to Rob, yeah, it was very challenging for him, but he picked up the language so quickly. Like, within a couple of months, he was basically fluent in German. He was answering the phone for his parents, answering the door. They could not speak German. It took a lot longer for his parents to learn German. Kids learn languages so unbelievably quick, and I know this because my children are bilingual. Yeah, Rob just said it didn't take long before he was speaking German without a Polish accent. The thing is, when Rob reached the 4th grade in Germany, even though he was very, very fluent in the language, he was not as far ahead as the children who were born in Germany and had German parents. He was at a significant disadvantage with the language. So I was actually just the other day having a conversation about this with Rob's parents because, you know, Amelia being in 4th grade, it was bringing up so many memories for them of when Rob was in 4th grade, and it was actually quite triggering for them, thinking about the stress of it all when they could hardly speak German at that point. You know, their German is fluent now. What Rob's parents told me is that about halfway through the year in the 4th grade, they had to go to a meeting at the school with Rob's teacher to discuss, you know, what school Rob may be going to. And so the teacher showed the parents his grades, and they were really good. Like, with those grades, he could have gone easily to the Realschule, like maybe gymnasium. Rob's parents, of course, really wanted him to go to gymnasium, if not Realschule, and they made that clear in their very limited German that that's what they wanted for Rob. And the teacher said to them, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I think a better fit for Rob would be Hauptschule. Rob's parents were really struggling with the language, so they couldn't express how they felt, and it just seemed crazy to them because he had the grades to, you know, definitely get into Realschule, if not gymnasium, but this was the teacher's recommendation. There was another Polish boy that Rob was friends with in his class, and the teacher thought it would be a good idea for the Polish kids to go to the same school together. This was completely out of Rob's parents' hands, and he was sent initially to the Hauptschule. Rob's parents still, to this day, day have so much regret about that one meeting with his 4th grade teacher. They blame themselves and they feel as though if they had been more persistent that this wouldn't have happened, and yeah, it's very, very triggering for them. It's really hard. And you know, despite Rob initially being put into the Hauptschule, he was able to, you know, later get his Realschule Abschluss. I must say Germany has an amazing apprenticeship system, and although Rob was not able to attend university, he was able to complete 2 3-year-long apprenticeships. And so his first apprenticeship he made was as a mechatronica, so he's a qualified electrical mechanic, and you know, he worked in this industry for a while and decided this is not what he wants to do. After I met Rob, he decided he wanted to retrain, and he did an apprenticeship in winemaking and viticulture, and you know, he's fully qualified now. And so, you know, he has done really, really well in life, but his life probably would have looked quite different if it wasn't for that 4th grade teacher that made the decision based on just how she felt. It makes me super angry when I think about it. And Rob's parents, they strongly believe it was a racially driven decision because all of the foreign children in his class were put into the Hauptschule, and you know, just out of default. That definitely says something, and yeah, I'm super angry about it, and there's nothing we can do to change it. And yeah, I think Rob grew up his whole life sort of not believing that he was intelligent. He was not aware of his full potential because of being labelled at such a young age. Something that's helped with Rob's self-esteem is the fact that he has been able to complete 2 apprenticeships with top grades, and he is now in a career that he loves. And also he took an IQ test later in life, and he has a really high IQ, like well above average. And so that just goes to show that teachers are not always right, and that teacher certainly wasn't right. Things have changed a lot with the German school system. You know, this was many years ago. Rob is 36 right now. And, you know, Amelia's teacher said that if a child receives a grade, the teacher cannot question that. So if a child's grade is good enough to attend gymnasium, there's nothing that she can do to stop that. But back then the teacher had a huge influence on what school the child would attend. I strongly believe that back then a lot of the time the teacher's decision was racially driven. It was obvious because you didn't see a lot of foreign kids in the gymnasium back then. There are more nowadays, not as much as there should be, but there were hardly any back then. One of Rob's best friends here in Germany is actually Armenian, and he is a doctor, and he was the only foreign kid throughout all of the years in gymnasium, and he literally had to fight his way into gymnasium. Like, the teachers did not want him to be there. He's one of the most intelligent guys I've ever met in my life. He won a scholarship to finish his studies in London. Like, he's brilliant, and you know, I'm so pleased that it worked out for him, but a lot of immigrants in Germany are not so lucky in that sense. So anyway, this video has turned out to be a lot longer than I had anticipated. There was just a lot that I needed to say, and yeah, it's been a pretty stressful year so far, just with all of the preparation for, you know, for these tests. And of course, you know, as a mother, I want the best for my child. And so yeah, it's really, really hard to encourage Amelia to do well in school without putting pressure on her. It's really hard, and I think the German school system makes it really hard on parents, not only kids but parents. It puts us in a really difficult position. Rob and I decided early on that we are not going to let this German school system interfere with our relationship and our bond with our child, and so, you know, it is what it is. We're just going to support her in every way we can, and the rest is sort of up to her. So we'll see what the next year brings. It's going to be interesting, and yeah, you know, feel free to comment and share your experiences if you grew up in Germany. You know, what was your experience in the German school system? If you're an expat like myself and you're raising, you know, multicultural children here in Germany, I'd love to hear your experiences in my comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!